Guys, welcome to Limitless Talk with me, Katie. It has been what feels like an absolute eternity since we last shared a conversation, since I was last hitting record, having to plan in doing the podcast. Took a bit of a break from things, a very crazy time professionally as the funeral industry in Scotland becomes regulated as of the 1st of March. So priority had to take over to make sure we were absolutely ready as a business, ready as individuals working within the industry, and just having a little holiday from the podcast. But we are back. We are on Friday, the 7th of March. It is currently 2:13 p.m. in the afternoon. I've decided to make an effort by turning up just in the door from work in the funeral attire, office attire. And I thought, what a perfect way just to get us going again, get us going for the month, get us into that habit of sharing a conversation not only between me and you, but also we have some upcoming guests planned coming on talking about their own experiences, different experiences of life, of business, yeah, just everything. So basically, with Limitless Talk, we are the podcast for anyone who's just joining this now or hearing about us now. It's the podcast where limitless conversation. There is nothing that we can't share or talk about. And that's the way that I want it to be. We can share about poor mental health, positive mental health, that we've had a really shit day, that we've had a really amazing day, about a specific topic, about something we want to rant about. Who knows? But this is the podcast for all of that. And who knows, it might even help in self-development. So we come back to the amazing podcast, and today is a conversation between me and you. And thinking about what I wanted to come back and talk about, I thought I would talk about my kind of time away prioritising, my lessons learned, my takeaways from the last kind of 3-4 weeks. And I think for me, it has really opened my eyes to my own kind of where am I at, who am I right now, what am I doing, where are my controllables, what are not my controllables, where am I paying attention, what am I prioritising. I think the kind of rut that I found myself in back in January that I know I shared previously on the podcast was that I'm finally seeing lights at the other end of that tunnel. I'm finally back in that flow state that I'd been searching for, that I'd found myself a little bit lost from. That I can socialise. Again, if you've listened to the podcast for a while, you'll know that it's not something that I do very often or really want to do. But by removing certain things from my life, from really sitting down and saying, what's a priority right now? What is going to benefit me in my life? Who do I want to spend time with? Is being by my own on a lot of the time, being really happy in my company all the time a good thing? So all of that, while being professionally ready for this change in the funeral industry in Scotland, this big change, an amazing change, by the way. It is an amazing change because we need regulation, but I'll talk about that at a different time. It's brought me on to a few points. So I've got a sticky note here and I wrote some words of, I went from feeling a bit disconnected, and I've now doubled down on everything that's important to me. So for me, it's important about my self-development, and that comes down to my training, my nutrition, what I read, what I do, who I spend time with, that sort of thing. That I want more for myself, that I'm capable of so much more. And having a little bit of a rut of my poorer mental health, being a bit low in mood, all of that sort of thing has allowed me to see that I'm actually capable of so much more. That all the hard work that I've done in previous years, days, months, weeks, hours, whatever, I'm actually capable of so much more. And this is the time to make it happen. That pushing myself, pushing intensity, having this identity of myself, asking higher level questions. These are all the things that were coming to mind, I suppose, in the last few weeks when doing all these sort of things. And it brought me to a point where it made me reflect. It made me reflect on, I used to say words when I didn't make it to go on holiday, when I was having a panic attack, when I couldn't make it to even go a mile from the house, is, I'm just constantly letting people down. I'm a constant letdown. Those words, and doing everything that I've done the last kind of 2-3 weeks, made me realise that, whoa, that consumed the living daylights out of me. Feeling like I was a constant letdown. A constant letdown of not being able to do things, having to back out of a lot of things, letting people down. So say I made a plan with my best friend Emma. We made the plans and then I would back out on her. I'm just using that as an example. And it was so easy for me to be that constant letdown. It was actually easier for me to be that letdown than go and have a lunch date with Emma. Like, what the actual? So it allowed me to reflect on that and be that a lot of us as individuals really do let ourselves down in so many different ways, even if we don't realise that we're doing it. And again, working in the funeral industry, someone that's passed away doesn't have that choice any longer to be that letdown, to be the person at the front of the queue, to be the person that's practically touching the band that's on the stage. And for me, the reflection is the takeaway that I've had in the last few weeks. I talked about it at the beginning that I wanted to, and it's really hard for me to say, but I feel really, really annoyed and frustrated of the version of myself that was the constant letdown. The reason why I feel like this is because I know there is more I could have done. I know I could have fought the little tiny battles at certain times when I think back on it. I really could have fought differently. But it was so easy for me just not to bother. So easy to let it consume me. So easy to surrender to all the feelings of it and just be that constant letdown. So basically, I've learned that a previous version of myself wore it like a badge of honour. Not the badge of honour that I carry right now, where I'm a 28-year-old who wants to better themselves in body, mind, and performance, who has found a love and an obsession for self-development, who has came to a point in her life where she is almost living life through the kind of between 18 and 22-year-old self that she never really got to be, but doing it in a healthier, alcohol-free, empowered way by surrounding herself with people that actually help better her, that encourage and support her, and actually have other people aspiring to not be like her specifically, but inspire themselves to do something better for themselves. Now, that version of myself that I'm frustrated and annoyed at is still consumed by that expression. I'm a constant letdown, the constant letdown. And in all of this and everything, what I was having a conversation about this last week, was down south seeing some friends, and we were talking about it. Me and one of my friends going down in the car, me and Ross, and it's so easy for us to be a certain way. It's so easy for me to feel like a constant letdown. And what actually then taught me was that I could be a letdown today. I really could, because I could easily go back into my behaviours, my habits, everything that I know that contributes to being that frustrated, annoyed version of myself, if you like, that has accepted and acknowledged that being a constant letdown is actually a good thing. It's actually protecting me, that it's actually giving me a safe space, when actually all it was doing was holding me back, not allowing me the chance to fight, not allowing me to gain strength, to gain resilience, just allowing me to basically prove everybody right, or prove myself right. I think I probably should have said it like that. It's prove myself right that I am a letdown. But I was a letdown. In those moments, I absolutely was. So then it got me thinking that, okay, what does it take to not be a constant letdown? And that's where it comes, my little sticky notes, where I want more. If you're in those moments where you feel that you're a constant letdown, but you're a constant letdown for yourself, you're letting the kids down, you're letting your sister down, you're letting your class down, you're letting your work colleagues down, whatever way in your context it is, like, how can you reframe that? How can you change that thought, or that consuming thought that you know is so easy to have, and use it as a brilliant excuse and change it? So the question I would ask, or I ask myself, that I'm now going to ask you and get you to think about is, what more do you want for yourself? What's your goals? What's your top 3 goals in life? For me, I want to go and live in Jersey. I want a Land Rover Defender. And I want to go to New York with my mum for my 30th. They're my 3 big things that I've spoken about 3 big things that I can visualise me doing. These are important things to me. Okay, you could say the Land Rover is a materialistic thing. You could say the mum was, oh yeah, that's just because it's a special birthday. And you could see that the Jersey one is just because people now think I've got an obsession with Jersey. But for me, I want more. And I want them. So if I want my 3 goals, I need to work for them. I need to be in professional environments that maybe make me feel uncomfortable. I need to face challenges and situations that test my mental health, test my levels of resilience, test my levels of strength. I need to be fit enough to walk around New York with my mum, because my mum is a fit woman, let me tell you. But I need to be fit enough to carry that. And I mean carry that of feeling light in myself, feeling healthy, feeling strong, feeling amazing in my body, mind, performance I spoke about earlier. And going to Jersey, stepping off that plane knowing that this is about to become my home, that I've got a home here now, that I'm starting a life here, is I'm capable of that wanting more. I'm capable of it. Whereas if I keep reframing this, I'm a constant letdown, I'm never going to achieve those 3 goals. So what more, this is the question, what more could you be doing, or what more do you want from yourself, from your 3 big goals that you want? Once you're able to ask that question, you're able to then branch off, if you like, and in your separate little branches just think, okay, I know it's going to be challenging. I need to accept that it's going to be so challenging, and I need to acknowledge that it's not going to be a straightforward journey. It's going to be the perfectly imperfect journey to get there, because I promise myself I'm not going to let myself down. Within all that I've just said to you, I've created my mission statement. I've told you my top 3 goals. I've asked myself what more do I want from myself in order to not be a constant letdown and feel the way that being a constant letdown makes me feel. And then I've created that mission statement. So within creating that mission statement, I'm raising the levels of belief. I'm trying to work with my mind, with my body, with my performance. I'm trying to visualise it, right? Can I see myself driving my Defender? Can I see myself stepping off the plane? Can I see me walking in New York with my mum? It's like, yeah, that's the bigger picture, but then we're bringing it back to the little kind of steps that we need to take. I know that I need to push myself and do things that make me feel so uncomfortable, because the uncomfortable moments, the uncomfortable challenges, the uncomfortable places, environments, everything that we put ourselves in is going to allow us to progress, and progress better than if we stay in a comfortable position. If I stayed in that constant of being a constantly letting down person, I would never be doing this podcast. I would never be trying to get well-being to be a better topic in the funeral industry. I would never be going to America on my own in just over 6 weeks' time. I would never be able to do any of this. And that's what it's all about. That's how you, for yourself, can not be like, as we spoke about before, the last time we had a conversation, I finished off that sort of season, that sort of time with the power of self-talk. I'm just following on to that by giving you a situation, circumstances that probably coming off the back of recording that podcast made my mind then reflect on being that constant letdown, for example. So when you've created that mission statement, what can be your, we always talk about, personal training, things like that, of it's not once you get started, it's the getting started. So the third part to that is, right, I'm going to start. It's not asking when you're going to start. Notice how I didn't frame it like that. It's not when you're going to start. It's I'm going to start. You can start today. You can start right now. So we have started this podcast at 14:13 p.m. in the afternoon. It's now 14:27. I can't. That's been 14 minutes now. What could you do to start imminently, presently, now, in order to not be that constant letdown version of yourself? Because it's in there. I've realised that it's in all of us. It's in all of us in so many different ways. But again, it goes back to many conversations that we've shared, that I've shared with many others on this podcast. It's who you decide to be in these moments, situations, and environments. I could easily, as I said to you, I could easily still be the person that's been a constant letdown for myself. For other people, yeah, probably because they'd be frustrated that I was being that way. But I've chosen not to be. But the progress of it, that my coach Kristen said to me the other week, is much more rewarding. The smile on my face creating it, the warmth it's creating inside my body, I can feel it. I can feel the butterflies with it. because I know it's worth the fight. So I want to leave you with this. If you feel that you have moments where you feel like you're letting someone down, you're letting yourself down, you're being that constant letdown, it's a bit more negative, it's a bit more sad, it's making you low on energy, all of these things, start reframing it. Let's start asking, like, what more do I want from myself? What are my 3 goals? What are my big goals? And what do I want from myself in order to achieve those massive 3 goals that I have? Okay, I've got my 3 goals. I want X, Y, and Z for all of these goals. I want more so I can achieve it, so I can get there. So I know, like, you. So you're building momentum, building everything that we spoke about. That's what it comes to. And then you're okay. I am going to be that person. I'm going to be that person. I'm going to be that person because I know that I'm going to love driving that car. I know I'm going to love being in that place that I now call home, and I'm going to get to make memories with the people that mean the most to me. There's your mission statement. And say it a few times. Build it up. See, I'm getting excited doing this. I'm sort of like, could go a wee dance just because you're building that up. You're building that belief. You're creating that confidence. You're giving yourself the momentum behind you that you need to go from feeling, being, getting in that headspace of being a letdown to being I call it a let up. You're letting up. You're letting loose. You're feeling loose. You're getting loose. And then with that, you just push on and you remind yourself of these 3 steps every day. You remind yourself that you have goals that you want to achieve, that you are capable, and you want more of yourself because you know that to get those goals, you have to bloody work hard at it. And it's not easy. It's the imperfectly journey. It's quite a tongue twister on that. And that your mission statement is going to carry some momentum in it when you need it most, especially in the harder moments. So just remember, go do and be you. Be limitless. Limitless is whatever you make it. And I think that's, want to remind you of that. So don't ever feel that like a kind of annoyed, frustrated version of me. I actually thank that version of myself that allows me to have this and share this with you. Doesn't make me like it any better, but I've accepted it for what it was in those moments. And now, through experience, it's like, okay, if any of us are feeling that type of way, we're getting into that mindset or headspace of being a letdown, feeling like a letdown, there are steps available that can help us get out of that space. And it all comes from the power of self-talk. So go, do it, be you, be your limitless self. And thank you so much for joining me in this new Limitless Talk era. Not Limitless You Talk anymore. And as usual, please like, subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. Follow me at Limitless Katie on Instagram. Go tell your friends, your neighbours, anyone you like or your worst enemy about it because you never know, it might help them. And I will see you guys in the next one.